In May 1995, the Sonsivo mafiosi hosted a birthday celebration for one of their deputies in Prague, to which they invited other significant players from the criminal world. That party was busted by Czech police. 200 partygoers were detained and 30 were deported from the country. The police had been informed that the Sonsivo gang planned to carry out the assassination of the boss of the bosses over a $5 million disputed payment as he used to launder money for Sonsivo mafiosi. However, that boss was never showed up. He was reported to have been cautioned by a top Czech police official. Once a journalist said he has a knack for never being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Soon after, the Czech Interior Ministry banned him from entering the country for 10 years, while the Hungarian government declared him persona non grata and the British barred him from entering the country, calling him one of the most dangerous persons in the world. Semion Mogilevich was the man in question.
Signature. Some groups use a sniper rifle to take out their enemies. Some use a machine gun. Some use a pistol. The group with which Mr. Moglilevich is associated, their signature is the car bomb.
What happened in the 1940s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2002s, and so on. Let's begin with 1946. Moglilevich was born in 1946 in Kiev's Podol area to a Jewish family. He earned a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Lviv. He afterward joined the Libertskaya criminal syndicate. Authorities in the Soviet Union became aware of him in the 1970s, when he was involved in small thefts and forgeries. His first substantial income came from duping fellow Soviet Jews looking to relocate to places such as Palestine, where Moglilevich himself landed in 1990. Moglilevich made a lot of money as a middleman selling jewelry and artwork from Jews who immigrated from Kiev in the 1980s. Generals alleged that once the Soviet Union crumbled and its armed troops retreated, they sold their weapons to Moglilevich, who then sold them at considerably higher rates to nations such as Iraq, Iran, and Serbia. According to a 1995 British intelligence investigation, he was worth $100 million, and he was also suspected of directing a $150 million money laundering and racketeering enterprise in the United States through a Philadelphia-based magnet firm. Moglilevich struck negotiations to purchase their assets, sell them for fair market value, and transmit the money. Instead, he just sold the assets and pocketed the cash. He was sentenced to 3 and 4 years in jail for currency dealing charges. Moglilevich relocated to Hungary in early 1991 and married his Hungarian sweetheart Katalin Pap. He has at least 3 children, a daughter from his first marriage to Tatiana Markova, a son from his second marriage to Galina Grigorieva, and a son from his third marriage to Pap. He received a Hungarian passport as a result of his marriage to Pap. He continued to engage in a wide range of businesses while living in a fortified home outside of Budapest, including purchasing a local arms plant, Army Co-Opus, which made anti-aircraft cannons, and a covert transaction with bank chairman Vladimir Vinogradov in 1994. The Moglilevich Group took control of Uncatchable, one of Russia's largest private banks, gaining direct access to the global financial system. The bank went bankrupt in 1998 due to allegations of money laundering. Canadian media uncovered the involvement of Moglilevich, Mikhailov, and others affiliated with the Russian Mafia behind a public business trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange, YBM Magnex International Inc., in 1997 and 1998. On May 13, 1998, hundreds of FBI and other federal government officers stormed YBM's headquarters in Newtown, Pennsylvania. The public company's shares, which were valued at $1 billion on the TSX, went worthless overnight. An FBI informant informed the government in 1998 that one of Mogilievich's top lieutenants met 2 Russians from New York City with Genovese crime family members in Los Angeles to try to negotiate a plot to dump American hazardous trash in Russia. According to a confidential FBI assessment, Mogilievich's agent in Los Angeles stated that the Red Mafia would dispose of the poisonous waste in the Chernobyl zone, possibly by payoffs to the decontamination authorities there. Until 1998, Incombank and Bank Menadep were involved in a $10 billion money laundering scam facilitated by the Bank of New York. Moglilevich was also accused of taking part in a large-scale tax evasion scheme in which untaxed heating oil was marketed as highly taxed vehicle fuel. One of the biggest scandals According to estimates, up to 1/3 of all fuels sold passed through this method, resulting in enormous tax losses for several Central European nations. The scandal in the Czech Republic is reported to have cost taxpayers over 100 billion CZK and included, among other things, killings and the attempted assassination of a journalist writing about the matter. Moglilevich was placed on the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation's wanted list in 2003 for his involvement in a plot to scam investors in Canadian business YBM Magnex International Inc. Frustrated by past failed attempts to prosecute him with arms trafficking and prostitution, they had now landed on large-scale fraud charges as their best chance of bringing him to justice. He was widely regarded as the most powerful Russian gangster alive. Former Clinton administration anti-crime czar John Weiner stated in a 2006 interview, "I can tell you that Semion Mogilevich is as serious an organized criminal as I have ever faced, and I am confident that he is responsible for contract killings." On January 24, 2008, Mogilevich was detained in Moscow for suspected tax evasion. On July 24, 2009, his bond was set, and he was freed. The Russian Interior Ministry declared that he was released because the allegations against him were not extremely significant. On October 22, 2009, he was added to the FBI's 10 most wanted list as the 494th fugitive. He was removed from the list in December 2015. The FBI stated that he no longer fit the list requirements due to his residence in a nation with which the U.S. does not have an extradition relationship. According to FBI records, Mogilevich had ties to the Camorra, specifically Salvador DeFalco, a lower-ranking member of the Giuliano clan. In 1993, Mogilevich and DeFalco would have met in Prague. This dangerous fugitive is no longer on the most wanted list since he is currently residing in Moscow, and Russia does not have an extradition treaty with the United States or Europe. Some think he gets along well with Putin. Alexander Litvinenko, a Russian FSB defector, and the ex-KGB agent had made a recording concerning Semion Mogilevich. According to the recording, Mogilevich has had a link and a good relationship with President Vladimir Putin since 1990. And guess what? Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned to death. The investigation into the killing of spy Alexander Litvinenko in 2015 concludes that Putin most likely approved of his assassination. Later, it was found that he was purposefully poisoned and murdered by 2 Russian men, with Putin's approval since he stated that Putin and Semion had a strong connection. The phrase "good relationship with Putin" has already been used in reference to this gangster Semion. In 2009, Leonid Derkach, the former chief of Ukraine's security agency, stated that the gangster had a strong connection with Putin at the time when he captured Semion in Russia. According to a transcript of a discussion between Derkach and former Ukrainian President Leonid Kuchma, Derkach stated that Semion Mogilevich is on excellent terms with Putin and that they have been in communication while Putin was still in Leningrad. According to the FBI, despite the warrants issued against him, he continues to live freely in Moscow. In the case of Mogilevich, official law enforcement organizations from all over the world had been attempting to prosecute him for almost 10 years at that point. His net worth is thought to be $10 billion. In the late 1990s, both Mogilevich and his partner Mikhailov stopped traveling to the West. Semion Mogilevich may not be as well known as famous names like Al Capone, Frank Costello, and Carlo Gambino, but he looms just as huge in the world of crime. The FBI, Interpol, and Israeli intelligence continue to pursue the world's most wanted man, who has denied various allegations of money laundering, drug trafficking, tax fraud, weapons stockpiling, and sponsoring terrorism. He is not in jail, but that doesn't mean he is free, as he is a puppet for some and most wanted for others. But we have not heard about him recently. Is it possible that he is dead by now? Share your thoughts with us in the comment box. If you think this video was good, then please hit the like button and make sure you have subscribed to this channel.